What? Did you share it?
Happened to the intro. All right, let's just go. Hey, welcome to the Security Guard Show. I'm Shep and
I'm Pitt.
He's Pitt, and you're looking at our screen. Pitt is holding the ESCT patch. Hold it up a little higher, Pitt. There you go. And you see me. It looks like I got a lot of static around me. It's because I'm trying to cover up the sunlight from coming in and disrupting my view, but I don't know. It's like everything we tried don't seem to want to work right, Pitt. I don't know, but we'll get through today's show.
Just get a white one.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do. But it's not. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna have to do. A white one. But here's the thing. So our intro didn't work today. I don't know why it didn't work.
There was no music.
There was no music. There was nothing, and so I don't know why it didn't work.
Coming in cold.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe the file is not found. So we got to go back and we got to reload all that stuff. Matter of fact, our commercial ain't even there. So I'm going to have to figure all that out at another time. I thought it was there. I should have known this stuff before we got started. But we are from Enterprise Security Consulting and Training. This is the Security Guard Show, hashtag Security Guard Show. Make sure you like and subscribe to us. Make sure you hit that bell on YouTube. And let your friends know that we are online and that we are doing this show right now. Let me make some things happen here because I can't see anything. There we go. So today we're going to talk about event staff. And then what else were we just talking about? Golly,
we're just talking about how people make up guidelines for people to
That's
operate by. Because they don't have to operate.
Yeah.
And
so
it's just crazy.
So yeah, we're gonna jump into a couple of those couple things on today's show, and I want to start with event staff because you and I we both work events. You're still doing it with Live Nation, right? Live Nation events out there at Darien Lake, and I've done it with Metropolitan Entertainment at Darien Lake, at the War Memorial, and a lot of other places. And, one of the things I like to think about, we're there to keep people safe. And a lot of times folks don't realize what we actually do out there when we're walking around with the event staff shirt. So why don't you, from your perspective, just kind of give an overview of what that is?
Well, first of all, the job of security is to keep problems from happening.
Right.
So we go around and try and anticipate what dumb stuff somebody might do that would cause harm to them or to somebody else. I mean, that's basically the job of a security person.
Right.
So an event is just a wider venue of the same thing. So,
having been in that role, a lot of times folks don't think that you have to write reports.
Oh no! If something happens, you have to. What's the acronym? CYA. Cover your assumption.
Cover your assumption. Right.
Yeah, but you have to write reports. Definitely have to keep a little notebook and a pen, which I'm notoriously bad at, because I have a steel trap up here. I'm notoriously good at that, but gotta keep a paper and pen, gotta keep a flashlight, because
flashlight cops.
I mean, sometimes that's the only way to get somebody's attention is with a flashlight, especially if you don't have radios. Line of sight and a flashlight could be the difference between taking somebody out and you getting stomped out.
Right.
I hate to put it like that, but that's just.
And I know in your experience, like me, we've seen people who got stomped. All right. And did you ever think about how many people you have responsibility for versus how many people actually have the responsibility? So like, a concert, let's say the Blue Cross Arena here in Rochester, I think the capacity is 12,000, something like that.
That's it?
Yeah, it's 12, 13,000, something like that. But, you know, you might have 60, 70 event staff security, right? You know, that's a lot of people for every one security person, right? You know, and so, you know, sometimes I think about what if all hell broke loose and nobody was listening, everybody was just doing their own thing. Security would take a loss.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I think back, and I don't know if I shared this story before, but when I was at Darien Lake some years ago, there was a Metallica concert, and Darien Lake had just, if anybody who knows Darien Lake, there's a grassy area, what I call the grassy knoll, and then there's the amphitheater area, right? And in between that,
it's what's called the lawn.
Right, the lawn.
Yeah.
And
No man's land
is in between that, and that's like this little strip of area that goes the whole length of the venue. And at that time, Darien Lake had just spent all kind of money planting new sod and everything out there, right? And these folks decided that was going to be a day that they threw mud piles at people, right? Yeah, this day descended into chaos completely. So here we are. There's probably 30 or 40 of us spread it out between, you know, throughout no man's land. And I mean, the music is loud. Everything looks like static. This is a crazy, crazy event. Anybody has ever been to or worked a Metallica show, it's total chaos, right? And so here we are. And these people, and some of them are coming across the barrier, right? Because our role there was to keep the people who don't have tickets for the amphitheater to stay out on the lawn. And these folks decide, well, up and over, right? So they're coming over this little flimsy fence that's out there, right? And they're throwing sod. On top of that, you got women bearing their breasts. You got guys out there who look like they're going to need a 2 or 3 day shower. It was just bad, right? So these guys are throwing. And so there's this one guy who's tall, lanky, really stringy hair, you know, and he has this mud pile in his hand. And he's getting ready to throw it. And he couldn't hear me, and I couldn't hear him, but he could read my lips. And he knew what I was saying. So I look at him like, if you throw that, I'm throwing your big. This was before Christ in my life. I'm gonna throw your, you know. And he read me. So here's what he did. And I couldn't hear what he's saying, but I know what he's saying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you, and all of us. And I looked at the guy I'm standing next to. I'm like, bro, we about to take a L. I just knew it. I said, this ain't gonna be good. And so I got hit with something. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was mud. I don't know if it was a rock. But I tell you this, I went home that night from Darien Lake with a concussion. And I said I would never work a Metallica show again. Ever. And never worked another Metallica show. When they came here to Rochester, and I don't know if Gary Stern was running security or not. I was like, I ain't working. Heck no, I ain't working for them. I am not doing a Metallica show. I meant that when I said I'd never do it again. And so that's my event staff story, one of them. You know, but I just, like I said, I remember it really descended out of control, man. Have you had a situation like that?
No, not like that. But concerts can be like that because you have kind of like a hive mentality.
Explain.
When one person starts acting up and other people see it, they just follow suit with it. You know, you don't have to know the person. You just know that they're in it, you're in it. Why not let us both be in it? And sometimes you get that, but you don't get it to that extent.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, you know.
I still would have dragged him out.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if he ever got dragged out or not. But I just knew at that moment there was nothing we were going to be able to do to win that situation. You have to realize that you can't win them all.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I would have known that.
And I think I was happy to go down swinging if need be. But I looked at that situation. I knew, okay, we get ready to take a L on this one. It's a wrap. And then I don't remember too much after that. Here's so
I've had rap concerts like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like not at big amphitheater, but like at clubs. When they had the Penny Arcade and I went in limo, picked up D-Block, brought them to the Penny Arcade.
Is that Eminem's group?
Yeah.
No.
I picked them up in Yonkers.
Okay.
They were rapping at the Penny Arcade. Some people started fighting, and then everybody started fighting, and then they were up on stage. Somebody pepper sprayed, and these dudes were still on stage rapping, talking about F the police, F security, Ted is my... And that's what they did. And we took it out that night, but we gave out some L's too.
Did you do the body count show? The Ice-T?
No.
Because remember that was when Ice-T came out with Body Count came out with Cop Killer, and I remember them coming to the Penny Arcade, and I just remember it being controversial. I don't know what all happened. If I remember correctly, it wasn't a bad show, but it was just the fact that controversial song was being
Everybody
played.
thought it was gonna be a bad show.
Yeah. But certainly, we both been in those situations where, everything goes south, and that's when you got to know who's working with you. That's when you really got to know who's working with you. And everybody on the team don't have to be as solid, but you just need to understand. You need to know who's solid and who's not, right? So I'm not gonna walk into this situation where I'm getting ready to walk up on 5-6 people, and I know the guy standing with me can't swing. I'm coming to get Pitt.
My very first concert out at Darien Lake, I had my knee surgery. So I was still healing from that, and we were in no man's land, and there was a fight, and I went up to the thing and called a couple guys over, and they were young, so they popped up over the fence, and the kid looked at me like, are you coming? And I'm like, I can't. And then he gave me a look that I'll never forget, because the look was like, you know.
Right.
So I had to tell him at the end of the night, listen, man, I can't go over the fence because I just had knee surgery. But I'm definitely not what you think I am with that look that you gave me.
This ain't that, right?
As we work together, you'll see. But that hurt my heart, that look.
Well, when you've been in this business as long as we have, I gotta get the sun out of my eye. When you've been in this business as long as we have, there's a certain expectation from that we have of our coworkers and that we have of ourselves, right? And we don't want folks to think that we won't be in a position to respond. Sometimes you just get, like you said, you just had knee surgery, so you couldn't really get in the mix like you wanted to.
Couldn't get over because the fence it's a little high.
Right.
I couldn't get over that fence. and I thought about it, and I was like, I can't get over the fence.
Yeah.
What I mean? Can't get over the fence. Definitely couldn't run through the people. But he had written me off in that second, in that look.
And you knew the look, right?
I knew
you knew the look.
Because I had given that look before.
We say you've given the look before. Again, it's like I said, we've been there, and with the level of experience, and Ron Richardson just responded. We were hoping to have Ron on today.
Yes, we were.
But he said he just saw the message. But when I think back,
Ron, commit to a Tuesday. You commit to a Tuesday. Let us know what Tuesday.
Exactly. Commit to a Tuesday. Let us know which Tuesday. I think back to when I think about event security. I don't know if you remember these names. You remember Roman? Show Nuff. He looked like Show Nuff
Yes,
from Last
yes.
Dragon, right?
Yes.
And you know, and Dino Page,
Oh, Dino.
Ron,
Yeah.
Eli, all the Mora boys. You know what I'm saying? All these guys, Pete Rosas, all these folks who were, you know, what I call the War Memorial crew. Monroe Briscoe, you know, and we were all working for Gary Stern, and it was really a crew. You knew who had your back.
All OGs.
All OGs, you know. And I think back to when I was going to concerts when I was young, and I saw the guys who had these tight dress shoes on, you know what I'm saying? But it was all like karate dudes, you know. And so you know who had your back in those days. You know, I don't know what the climate is like now because I've been out of that arena for so long. What's it like at Darien Lake?
As with any big venue, you have your core.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a supervisor core, and all the supervisors are with it.
Right.
You know, we all look out for each other. We all watch out for each other, and you have your core. When you have a venue that big, you're always going to have less than stellar spots
Mm-hmm.
and less than stellar people.
Ooh.
I shouldn't.
No, go back to the less than stellar spots real quick.
Yeah.
Let's tell people what that means.
Less than stellar spot is some place that you wouldn't put one of your better people because it's something that needs to be monitored, but it doesn't need to be monitored by one of your better people. So you take and you put, you know, somebody that's not one of your better people there.
So for any of you who are looking at being team leaders for maybe an event staff for an event, you need to know who you're bringing in, right? And it's not to say that one person is better than the other, but one person may have a different skill set. It's very important to know who has what skills and where they can be utilized.
Some people carry a small toolbox. Some people carry
a big toolbox. And then some people carry a toolbox with no tools. So
that's a fact.
So you have to know who you got on your team. It's very, I think, you know, that's where I was kind of getting to when I talked about those OGs. You know what I'm saying? As far as I'm concerned, they're OGs. Because everybody brought something to the table. You cannot jump into this arena of security and not bring something to the table. Listen, your own people will beat you up.
That's a fact.
You know, it's one thing to get beat up by the folks who are we might call your clients, customers, or visitors, right? It's another thing when your own team say, "Come here, let me holler at you," right?
We're gonna go outside.
We gonna go outside. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna come back in after we finish. Now, after we finish, we can be friends, but we got to get this out of our system.
The man talk.
Right.
We gotta
go have a man talk, right? And I've had a couple of those conversations with some folks, and a couple of people had those conversations with me, right? Because they thought, like you in that other situation, they thought I didn't have their back. Well, listen, bro. No, I had your back. It's just way back because I ain't believing what you was doing, right? I'm trying to support you. You know, and that's another thing sometimes you got to think about. You know, it's why it's important to have good training, right? When everybody has the same, I shouldn't say the same, but have at least a basic knowledge of what's supposed to be done, then there's no issue when it comes to, well, why didn't you do this or why did you do that? You begin to understand what was done and the reason it was done for. Right. And so I think, you know, it's very important to know who you're working with. But I want to get ready to transition because, you know, this time runs so doggone fast. And I'm scared to extend the show because we don't want to give them too much. I don't know. We don't want to give them too much, right?
Eventually it'll be longer. At least 45 minutes.
Yeah, maybe. And we can go 45 minutes.
Go past that, but at least 45 minutes.
So I want to segue back to what we were talking about before the broadcast.
With people making up.
And so oftentimes, what Pitt and I were talking about is oftentimes people who make the rules aren't the people who have to actually enforce the rules or make things happen.
Or are governed by what they are in their job.
Right. And so oftentimes in this industry, whether you're working event staff, whether you're working contract security, or whatever the case may be, you're going to run across that. And this is where you have to be very flexible, because oftentimes you're not going to have any final say-so in the issue. So if the boss says, this is what needs to be done, this is how it needs to be done, you just got to figure out a way to carry it out. And so, you know, to the best of your ability, you know, because for me, as an administrator, I'd rather know we tried it and it didn't work than to, well, it just ain't going to work. Right. But I do come at it from a point of experience. Right. So when I do, you know, implement things, even on my job, when I implement things, I'm implementing them based on my experience. Now, that doesn't mean my experience is necessarily the right fit for that particular situation, right? And so I know, you know, I'm very keen about that. So I make sure that, you know, I include those who actually have to do the work. But you're gonna find some folks who tell you to go across the street and don't even know what cross the street look like.
Or how to get there.
And it sounds easy, right? Just step off the curb and keep going until you get to the other side. But there's something happens, like a bus coming, and nobody taught you how to look both ways.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
So, I mean, talk a little bit about your experience with a situation like that. Never mind. I'm going to help you out. Because where you work at, you have a lot of people who are telling you what security should be and what it should look like, but have no experience in security.
No experience. or doing it.
Or doing it. So I liken it to this. I had this doctor who was concerned about my health, right? And he told me that I should eat a certain way. So I had a nutritionist also. And my nutritionist says to me, no, Owens, you need to eat this way. And I said, but my doctor told me that I need to eat this way. This is what she said to me. She says,
I know.
Who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to the guy who had a couple of hours of education in nutrition? Or are you going to listen to me who's had a 4-year degree in nutrition? So I guess you know who I listen to. I listened to her because because you know, not only was she very smart, but she was strong. I was scared she was gonna beat me up.
I guess that's a plus if you're a nutritionist.
Yeah. So you know, you find these folks who have the responsibility of ensuring the security of a particular location, but they don't know what the security looks like.
And as far as I'm concerned, it's not a good way to conduct business when you implement changes based on zero knowledge of the changes, or maybe something that you've read and you don't pull your resources, right, and then come up with changes that you may want to implement according to the information that you brought in. I can't fathom how anybody in a position of authority, how they don't do that. It just boggles my mind. These are the people that do it. So these are the people that are going to help you make it work. You just going to, sit behind the desk and type something up, stroke a few keys, and here you go. This is what you should. Like, what's this based on?
Right. You know, you know me. I'm always talking about Gary Stern and Ron Richardson, right? And I believe Gary might be watching, and I know Ron's watching. But one of the things that I used to love about the way Gary worked, Gary would tell you where to go, what you need to do when you got there, and then he left you to it. And he would come back and check on you, but he left you to do the work, right? So when I remember, and this for me, this was the big honor for me when I got bumped up to pit crew, right? When I'm in front of the stage, I was like, yeah, I finally arrived, right? I'm in front of the stage. I'm almost like Charlie Mack, the first out the limo. You know what I mean? So here I am, and I watch Dino, Ron, and I got to tell this quick story, and Ron will remember this. I don't know if you will. I'm sure you should. I don't remember what concert it was, but as soon as the doors open, all these people, these mostly kids, come running in the door, come running in up to the stage, right? They're trying to get that front row, right? So Ron did something that was real funny. This has nothing to do with what I was just talking about, but I just thought it was a funny story. So Ron told people, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. So all these people are coming in, and because they see all these folks sitting down, they start sitting down, right? So all these people are sitting on the floor, on these wood pallets or whatever it was, because no, it wasn't wood because the ice wasn't down on the ring. So all these folks are just sitting on the floor, and none of them know why. All they heard was a deep voice and a large dark man telling them sit on the floor, right? And they did it. I mean, it was the funniest thing. So we got like almost 10 rows back of people sitting on the floor. And all these people running in, they're like, why y'all sitting on the floor? Why y'all? And then we didn't have to tell them. They just did what they saw everybody else do. Funniest thing in the world to me. And we laughed about that for a long time afterwards. And I always thought about how Ron was able to get those people to sit down on the floor at a concert. And granted, it was before the concert actually started, but just how these folks just came running in. But back to what I was saying originally, and that was just a side back, because it just thought it came to my mind. But Gary allowed us to do what needed to be done. If there was any problem, any situation, then he'd come back and he would ask us, what happened or what this was about. Whatever. But he let us do what needed to be done. Because he believed in our crew.
Right. I was just going to say he had faith in.
He had faith in our crew, And another funny event staff story. This is just so, and I don't know if I told this story before, but people in this industry, security guard industry, they go to uniform store or Amazon and they order all this equipment, right? They got the pistol belt, the canteen, the tactical pants, the boots, everything, right? So we're doing this. WBLK in Buffalo had this event at Darien Lake. It wasn't in the amphitheater. It was actually in the park. And they had like 3 or 4 stages set up throughout the park. And so we had a couple guys with us who had never, that I remember, worked with us before. But somehow they connected with Gary, and Gary told them to come along. And
they showed up with the Tackleberry starter kit.
Oh yeah, the Tackleberry, and I just realized I ain't got you on the camera. Let me put you on. So yeah, they had the Tackleberry starter kit, and I mean, I looked at these guys and I'm like, y'all do realize we just going to work a concert. We ain't going to Beirut. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can never be too careful. You never know. I hope one of them may watch it. Well, if he watching, it's all in good fun. But it is what y'all did that day. One of those fellas has passed on. We rest his soul. But make sure you got the right equipment for the job. Make sure that you look like you're supposed to look.
Yeah,
but
leave that stuff in the car. And like, well, I brought some other stuff. Should I wear it? At least you don't embarrass yourself that way.
Yeah. So talk to your supervisor. Ask your supervisor what you need to wear, and wear only that. Bring only that. Right. And I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. The guys with the big canister of pepper spray look like freaking fire extinguishers.
Yep.
Fire Marshal Bob. Right. So I mean, Pitt, between you and I, we've had so much experience, and we are at 28 minutes. I can't believe it. But I got to give a plug for the business. So we are a part of Enterprise Security Consulting and Training Incorporated. We train security guards. We conduct the 8-hour pre-assignment, the 16-hour on-the-job training, the 8-hour annual. We conduct other training courses such as some defensive tactics. We're getting into pepper spray soon, handcuffing soon. So all you guys who are out here and you feel like you want that training, we will be offering it. We also offer CPR, first aid CPR and AED training. All our certifications. On top of that, we are hiring security guards.
Yes, we are.
So if you're interested in working, you need a part-time gig, you need a full-time gig. look us up. Go to Indeed.com, right? And I'm giving them the plug because that's where we put our stuff up at.
Fair enough.
But go to Indeed.com, search for Enterprise Security Consulting and Training, and you will see what jobs we have open. And
we're no longer taking applications off of Facebook because when you do it through Facebook, it's
talk about it.
Juicy-licious. Putting in a job application,
right?
Or whatever your num de plum is on Facebook, and it just looks ridiculous.
It does.
And they don't fill it out completely. So
right.
If you put one in on Facebook, we didn't look at it. Just go to Indeed because it was funny.
Yeah, I hate to say it like I hate to say that we did. I did look at some, but I just couldn't take some of what I saw. I mean, listen, for anybody applying for a job on Facebook, make sure your name, your government, all right, your government is there for people to see because I just can't hire Juicy-licious.
Right. It's a matter of professionalism.
We just can't do it. So we're gonna get ready to get out in just a moment, but make sure you check us out. We do have some job openings, and I think Pitt, one of the things that we're gonna do is we're gonna hold an open hiring session. So we're just gonna invite people to come, one day real soon. So follow us on Facebook, follow our page, Enterprise Security Consulting and Training Incorporated, or me, Owen Shepard, or Pitt, John Stewart, or I was supposed to say,
right.
But it's okay. Pitticus,
right.
Okay. Lakeisha Shepard, Sean McLean, Shelly Smith. I share everything on their pages, so make sure you're following us to find out when we're going to hold this hiring event. And I can tell you the hiring event will happen probably before the end of this month because we have some things that are coming up, and we want to make sure we have the staffing for it. And there was something else I wanted to say before I got out, but just stay alert. It's warm out. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water while you're out here on the job. Don't be falling out. All right. And you got to make sure you take care of yourself. But again, we are Enterprise Security Consulting and Training. Make sure you go check out our website, www.esctroc.com. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Enterprise Security, Twitter, ESCTROC. What else? Facebook. We on social media. Just Google us. You'll find us, right? And we'll be glad to help you out the best we can. And I gotta take a moment to shout out two new staff.
Yeah, we got some new staffers that are awesome.
We got a couple of new folks that are with us. Matthew Stone and Mashonda Wright. We thank them for joining us and already, showing, improving. Stellar.
Hit the ground running.
Hit the ground. That's what it is. They hit the ground running. They came in and was like, I'm ready for this, right? And those are the kind of people we want. Don't forget, coming up also, don't forget the trivia. Why are we called Enterprise Security Consulting and Training? Well, they remember. You remember that?
I remember.
Okay. So
they actually put a little thing in there for them too. If you're watching, you got that.
Right. So make sure, because what we're going to do with that trivia is that we're going to train, we're going to pay for someone's fingerprints, their training, their registration, and then we're going to try to give them a job.
Yep.
So I think
from the rooter to the tutor.
From the rooter to the tutor, right? We're trying to help folks. This is what we're here for. We make a couple of dollars here and there, but we're really here to help our community. People are needing jobs. And last thing, but y'all know what Biden said. If they offer you a job, you got to take it. So don't think that unemployment go last long time. All right. So with that, I just want to say, may the Lord bless and keep you.
And you always be safe.
Take care. God bless.